Brutus Beefcake, brother. What did the Headless Horseman say before leaving the party, dude? I'll be heading off then. Hulk, I've been using my scissor snipping skills to find you the perfect head for this Tito Santana Hasbro figure. I can't tag with these guys, Brutus. What do you think of these second generation heads? Well, what you gonna do when Greg and Mike run wild on you, brother? Hola, amigos, it's Will here from Will's Custom Figures, coming at you today with a big, bad breakdown of wrestling legends, Greg Gagne, and of course none other than Mike Von Erich. So please guys, sit back and relax while I took you through how and why I made these action figure heads and all the details in between. Now, Greg Gagne, son of legendary promoter Vern Gagne, aka the AWA founder. He wrestled mostly in the AWA, the American Wrestling Association, during the 70s and the 80s, known more as a solid hand rather than a flashy star. He was a technical wrestler, he wasn't a powerhouse. He often teamed with Jim Brunzell as the High Flyers, one of the AWA's most popular tag teams. And of course, with a slightly more urban hair on the left here, coming around to the right, we've got Mike Von Erich, the youngest son of Fritz Von Erich, one of the famous Von Erich family dynasty in World Class Championship Wrestling, WCCW. They've even had a film made about them. They never intended to wrestle originally, they just wanted to be in music and film production. Now, let's get into some of the nitty-gritty detail. Now, I wanted to get across that white meat baby face that Greg absolutely was in his career. He's got sort of shorter, tidier hair. He's not a grizzled, sort of like super masculine wrestler, but at the same time, he's got that smell, but he can still kick your butt if he wanted to. Now, a little bit about Mike Von Erich. He was thrust into the business after his brother David's tragic passing in 1984. He debuted as a teenager, but health issues, toxic shock syndrome, shoulder surgery severely limited his career. It was a tragic figure in wrestling history, but nevertheless, I wanted to immortalise him. As you can see here, just a bit of blue tack to hold him up, make sure it's standing perfectly, making sure he's got that beautiful feathered look with the hair, very similar to sort of, you know, your early Ric Flairs, and a very different appearance, of course, than the Texas Tornado, or indeed his father, Fritz Von Erich, who I've worked on both previously. Now, it does absolutely pay me just to work on the head sculpts, but nevertheless, I wanted to feature them on this channel. And as you can see here, if I was going to be using this on a wrestler, on a retro Hasbro wrestler's body, I would probably have picked Jake the Snake, aka Tito Santana. This is a great body mold, and as you can see here with Greg's head on it, it would fit really, really well and sit perfectly in the collection. Our customer who asked me to commission this for him is very, very happy with how it's looked, which is great. Here he is as a bit of a comparison next to the one and only rest in peace Hulk Hogan, brother. Man, one of the all-time greats. And as you can see, they scale really, really well together. I used Citadel paints as well as Vallejo paints for the skin colour and for the hair. I originally used Super Sculpey clay to make the original heads, and then I used a silicone mould and resin casting to create these that you can see in front of you. And of course, we're mixing in lots of different colour to get that hair shade perfect, making them look era accurate. With Mike Von Erich here, I had to get that youthful appearance in there, but also that sort of retro look, you know, the 70s and 80s vibes. I had to get that in there as well. And I think I've done a pretty decent job. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of this. Now, for me, it's all about what could have been. He was a beloved superstar, or professional wrestler, as we probably should be calling it, by WCCW fans, despite his struggles. NWA and all these other promotions out there, his rivalry with the fabulous Freebirds, of course, involving his entire family. Man, what could have been with this superstar? Here he is, if I was to have finished this, again, using this body next to the absolutely jacked up legend himself, Ultimate Warrior. One of the all-time greats. Can you imagine these guys facing off? Now, if we're talking legends and we're talking showcases, you cannot do that without Sergeant Slaughter, in my opinion. I wish there was a Sergeant Slaughter around in today's pro wrestling, one of my all-time faves. And as you can see here, scaling pretty well. I used a lot, like the previous figure with Greg, a lot of the Citadel paints, a lot of the Vallejo paints, and you can see the hair really contrasting against the Hot Rod Roddy Pipers here. But yeah, no expenses spared, trying to make sure it's as accurate as possible. Really love the paint job, of course, using a gloss varnish on the eyes and on the lips to make them jump out. Now, working on this set was an absolute treat. Both families have an absolute legacy behind them. Both of them coming from some of the most powerful wrestling families of all time, especially if you love your pro wrestling lore. Greg Gagne will probably always be remembered, more as a promoter, as a trainer in the WCW Power Plant. People like Steve Austin, Booker T, DDP, Kevin Nash, Brian Pillman, even Jim Brunzell. Now, Mike Von Erich, fans admired his courage despite his illness and injuries. His career was cut short by health issues and an impressive pressure from living up to the Von Erich name. His tragic story is often cited as the discussion of the Von Erich curse. That wraps up today's custom head review. Let me know in the comments section below what you think of Greg Gagne and Mike Von Erich, or which wrestlers you'd like to see me tackle next. I'm working on Randy the Ram, Hot Dollar, Chief J Strongbow, and many more. So don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe button to the channel for more custom reviews and behind the scenes builds. You can also follow me over on Instagram, Facebook, and of course here on YouTube for extra updates and sneak peeks. Thanks for watching, guys. From me, Will, adios.